Okay, clone family. I want to start off this video with a very heartfelt apology for. I was looking at my records and I am way overdue on getting you an update video on Tavi. Um, and Scott, I know we talked about Tavi and talked a little bit about strategy, and I wanted to kind of go over a few things with you in this video, kind of show you where we are and talk about my opinion of how we ought to move forward. First off, I would say this. I have really made this week, Tavi has been the top priority because I know we kind of talked about maybe looking for a stopping point to end soon and really trying to figure out where we are. And the short answer to that question is I do not think we are at a good stopping point. And I'll show you what I mean. And it's something that we very much can fix. It's something that's part of the process. But what you're going to see is that Tavi would not be able to go hunting yet. She has a lot of the pieces working. She is growing up, but she's just not. It hasn't all the way clicked. There's a light that's going to come on, and it has not yet totally come on. She does not see how all the pieces work together just yet. All right. So first thing I do want to talk about is I want to talk about something good, and that is her physical growth. Tavi is getting big, as you can tell. She is growing nicely. She has been extremely healthy. She's very happy. She's very clean. She's very quiet. Tavi is a joy to have around the kennel. I like having her around. She gets along great with every other dog. Had zero concerns with her in terms of being a dog and being around. She's been very nice. And like I said, very healthy. So that makes me feel good. Also, like I said, she's getting pretty big. I think she's going to be a pretty decent sized female. She's not going to be huge, but she's not going to be small either. At this age, so we're what, 7, 8 months old, something like that. Oh, we love the ear rubs. You should see she's closing her eyes, like, oh, keep rubbing my ears. Um, Definitely, I feel like physically she has developed. I also feel like mentally she has greatly progressed in her maturity. She is developing mentally and handling the training well. So I feel like it's all going well. Again, no red flags that I am seriously concerned about. Now I want to show you, I'm going to start off with our little training here, showing you what I am concerned about. What I am concerned about is she has not clicked this all together. So what I have in here is I have a blue-winged teal. I brought a duck in here with me. This is frozen, so it's much like a toy, like a bumper, but it's a duck. And what I am looking at is Tavi does not understand that I want her to pick this up and bring it to me and how to do that. And so right now this is a sign of confusion. Here's what I mean. Hey, come here. Huh? We gonna get it? Huh? Whoosh. Hey, huh? Hey. Whoosh. And she does not understand she needs to pick that up and bring it to me, just tossing it like that. She does not feel comfortable with this. You can see she's avoiding it. This is a dog who is confused. She does not know that this is the object that we need her to get. She does not understand that. Now, I will say this is an extremely common reaction at this age to birds. And she actually kind of has this reaction to most toys at the moment because we haven't finished our force fetch process yet. Um, so that is the problem that we need to fix. And we need to keep working through this. If we get through the process, we will see that she will become much more confident and much more consistent in her retrieving. Now, I do want to show you what we've been working on and how we are going to address this issue. What we need to do is we need to continue to take the retrieving process and break it down into incremental steps. Um, some dogs like very naturally just do this, and some we have to help them understand the process. Um, and that process is about obedience. And then once we get them doing a proper retrieve nicely, then we build a lot of momentum, and it comes along very quickly. That's the click that I'm talking about, the light coming on, whatever you want to call it. The understanding of what I am what I am trying to get her to do. I do want to point out that her obedience has come along very nicely. You might notice no jumping, no running around crazy. She is under control. She has really nice manners. She's very polite. She's giving me a tail wag here. She's being a good girl. And also, when I'm looking at her, I'm looking at her body posture. Her body posture says, "I'm ready to learn. I'm comfortable." And she understands that this is our training time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what we're doing with our force fetch sessions. Now, this is the process that we're going to use to help her understand how to retrieve properly. Now, we are using what we call our force fetch stick. It's nothing really fancy. It has two kind of big ends and then a nice spot in the middle. What we want to see happen here is we want to see the dog grabbing the bumper in the middle. And the idea is that if I set it on the ground, there's a gap in here so the dog can grab it easily. So it's designed to help the dogs hold and carry something easily. So when we start this process, we start the process using my hand. We don't even start with this. Sit, please. Good. So we start the process with my hand. So I would take my right hand and I put it in her mouth, and I'm going to make her hold it until I say the word give, and she has to release. Now, getting her to accept an object in her mouth and getting her to understand to release is two huge lessons that we had to work on. Tavi went through that, I would say, at a normal rate. She handled it fine. At the beginning, once we start trying to control the dog's mouth, every single dog flips out because it's a weird sensation for them. And she did, and that was very normal. And she quickly learned to accept how we were going to learn this lesson. So step one, you're going to have an object in your mouth. And step two, you're going to have to release it on command. All right. So then once we got her to hold something, now we're going to carry it. So I put my hand in her mouth, heel, good. And we're going to go back to our original position, heel, sit, good girl, give, good dog. Now, what we want her to do is we want her to understand that this rubber mat that I'm standing on, sit, is home base. This is our home position, and we want her to come back to this spot with the object. So every time she has the object in her mouth, whatever it is, my hand, a stick, a bumper, a bird, whatever it is, we come here and we come to the heel position to bring it to me. This is going to help make it concrete to her. Where are we going? This is the landing spot, and it's also going to be the launching spot as well. All right, so once we've got her holding a hand and carrying, then we move up to the stick. So I'm going to move up here to the stick. Now, at the beginning, most dogs do not want to grab the stick. So at the beginning, we actually place the stick in her mouth. Good, good girl. And we walk with it. Good. Tavi, here. Heel. Sit. Good girl. And we want her to hold it until I'm done and ready to take it. Good. Give. Now, that actually takes a fair amount of time to work on. It's very difficult for dogs to switch to a new object. They usually drop it. It's very difficult for dogs to switch direction they're walking. They usually drop it. There's a lot of pieces in there where they're likely to drop. Now, what we want to move on to next, after we master the idea of moving back and forth, is we want to understand that she needs to initiate the grab. This is a major important part, and it's going to be especially important for Tavi to help her understand, to get over her confusion. I need you to pick that up, sweetheart. That's what we need her to understand. The way that we do that is by putting the force in force fetch. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this stick in front of her mouth, and I am going to apply pressure to her ear. Now, what I mean is I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb, and I am going to squeeze on her ear. Now, when we do this, the purpose of this is not to hurt the dog. It is not to cause pain. It is not to frustrate the dog. That is not the point of this. The purpose of this is to teach the dog to feel pressure and respond by doing something. That is the major learning mechanism that dogs do. We are using classical conditioning to help her to understand, hey, I need you to get this in your mouth. And as soon as the stick comes in her mouth, the pressure goes away. Very quickly, what the dog learns is that they will beat the pressure and get the stick in their mouth before we ever even mess with their ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here, and I'm actually at the first few times we do this, we're always down at her level, all right? And we're going to take my left hand and hold her collar, and I'm going to squeeze on her ear a little bit, and she's going to reach out and grab the stick. Good girl. We've obviously progressed past this part, so I expected her to respond nicely. Now, what's important here is that we are monitoring her body language. We see that the tail was wagging a little bit there. We see that she is sitting upright. She's sitting up proud. She is not bowing her head. We don't want to see slumped shoulders. We don't want to see bowed heads. We like to see the tail wagging. That tells me that she understands what we're doing. She's comfortable. She's learning. And we have not squelched her spirit. Give. Good girl. Good. Yeah. She's also leaning up against me. This is a sign of trust, that she is leaning on me physically and emotionally, that she understands that, yes, I trust you. You're the boss. You're helping me, and she's working with me. We don't want her to use that as an escape mechanism, but it is perfectly fine for her um, to seek reassurance from me, to know that everything's okay, that you're doing what I want. She's a good girl. Tavi really likes to be praised. She really likes physical touch. She is a dog that likes when you give her love, especially on the ears. We love the ears. Oh, rub my ears. So we want to make sure that we are using those rewards when she does what I want. So now that we've got the force in force fetch, now what we're going to do, good, is we're going to apply the pressure and put it out in front. Fetch, and we're actually saying the F word there. Good. Here, heel, sit, give. Good girl. So there's 5 commands right there. Fetch, heel, hear, sit, give. Those are essentially the 5 full commands associated with force fetch. So they all mean something different. Fetch means put it in your mouth. Heel means walk nicely with me. Hear means come to me. Sit obviously means to sit down. And give means to release the object in your mouth. So I feel like she has a really firm grasp on these 5 commands, and it has a great foundation here. I feel like she's very intelligent, and I feel like she has progressed through these steps, like I said, with no red flags. I would say she has been very typical. Um, she has not particularly surged ahead, but she has certainly not lagged behind. Tavi's been with us for right at 2 months now, and I feel like we're about where we would be 2 months into a formal training, having seen a lot of progress and a lot of growth. So the next couple of steps that we're going to work on is we're going to work on putting a fetch with the stick on the ground. We've only done this once or twice, but I'll try to do it on video for you here. But the next step is down here. Down here. Come on. Good. Down here. Good girl. Come on. Good. Fetch. Good girl. Tavi, here. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Give. Now, eventually we want to be able to set it on the ground. Then we want to be able to roll it, walking away from her. And then we want to be able to toss it. We are close to having all of these pieces worked out. I really just need a little more time to get this to a good stopping point. I never want to say, you can't come get your dog, or, I've got to have her. But I would say that this is a pretty critical period. And if we were to quit now, she would definitely be in a state of confusion. And I don't want to see that for her, because she is having a lot of success. She's definitely made a lot of growth, and I really like working with her. So if we can work with her for a little bit longer, I think we can get this all ironed out and get her to a good stopping point, and get her fetching birds and get her retrieving nicely, so that she understands what it is that I'm asking of her. But as of right now, she's not all the way figured that out. She has certainly figured out that she is really good with going to her kennel. Okay, kennel. Like I said, she's a very nice, polite dog. She's great to have around the kennel. I really like her. We just need some time to get this wrapped up.